Welcome to Truman's Town Hall with your host, Matt Truman.
Hello, this is Matt Truman. Thank you for downloading this episode. Thank you for sharing with a friend. I hope this podcast finds you all well. Today I'm reeling from the meeting last night and just scratching my head wondering, can we ever trust government? And I'm going to play two clips. I'm going to play the city manager opening the discussion for the Veterans Memorial, and then I'm going to play the entire discussion from the Parks and Recreation Board meeting, their last board meeting. I believe it was on the 15th of August. I'm going to play those two clips, and then I'm going to let you decide. We're going to close out the podcast. I'm not going to ramble on about a bunch of politics because I don't want to bring politics into this. And I'm trying real hard not to do that. Because I believe in the Veterans Memorial. I believe that the city of Huber, and I know you guys know that, but I believe the city of Huber Heights deserves a Veterans Memorial to honor the veterans in the city of Huber Heights. Now, unfortunately, it's went down this path, but it will happen. I think everybody's on board that it will happen. Now, I am truly convinced that all the work that the Huber Heights Veterans Project did has been tossed to the side. Okay. None of us did it looking for credit. We did it because no one else was doing it. And we believed in that mission. So, having said that, let's play how the city manager opened the meeting or the discussion for the Veterans Memorial last night.
Okay, next up we have item 3C, which is the Huber Heights Veterans Memorial.
Yes, it was just passed on and carried over for additional consideration at the next council meeting. I know that we have met with the members of the Veteran Commission as well as had communication with the chair and representatives of the Parks and Recreation Board, and the recommendation from all involved still remains standing. Thomas Cloud Park.
Okay, so we heard the Veterans Commission and the Parks and Recreation Board. They must be those who are all involved still recommend Thomas Cloud Park. Now, that would not be a manipulation to place the memorial at Thomas Cloud Park and go on with what some of the folks want. That wouldn't be a manipulation in words, would it? Because now I'm going to play you the entire discussion of the Veterans Memorial from the Parks and Rec Board. Now you can decide. After this, I'm going to end the podcast. We're going to move on. All right? But I'm going to play it. Here it is, the Parks and Rec Board discussion on the Veterans Memorial. Now, keep in mind what the city manager just opened the discussion with. Everybody's on board with Thomas Cloud Park. Now listen, here's the discussion.
All right, so we're going to go ahead and move on to new business item number 2, the Veterans Memorial. So I put this on the agenda because I wanted to make sure you all were aware of, what some of the recommendations are for the park. I attended the Military and Veterans Commission meeting last month, and just to hear, what the recommendations were and what the ideas are for the Veterans Memorial. And as a veteran myself, I'm all for the city to have a memorial, specifically, celebrating, honoring our military. So as a part of that discussion, one, they wanted to make a recommendation to city to establish, for the city to actually have this as a project, to establish a Veterans Memorial. And the second one was to help choose a location for this Veterans Memorial. There were a couple of locations that were discussed. One was Sherman Park back here, which was also one of the ideas from the Huber Heights Veteran Memorial Project. And then also they were looking at Thomas Cloud Park as well. From that meeting specifically, they really wanted to target Thomas Cloud Park. So what I wanted to do today first was to hear your opinions, one, on having a Veterans Memorial within the park system, and what your opinions are on that first, before we talk about locations. So, and again, we will provide some input to them when it comes specifically to the park and what we think as well. So I will write a memo and send it over to them and say, here's what some of our thoughts are with that. Does that make sense? Okay, so I'll start on my right, Ron.
Great idea.
Okay. In the park?
In a park or
in a park?
In a park, right.
Okay. Jay?
I 100% agree. Yeah, definitely should move forward in any park. I think Thomas Cloud Park is kind of busy, so it'd be nice to have something to draw to another park.
Okay.
But other than that, yes.
Dennis?
Yeah, I like the idea. Thomas Cloud Park thing, if you want it visible to the most people that's going to be there, I think Thomas Cloud Park is a no-brainer, because that's where, splash pad, all the diamond soccer fields, and everybody visits there. And the one back here is really, really nice. But unfortunately, I think your neighborhood kids come to this park, and that's probably about it. I don't.
Alex?
Oh, I definitely agree that we need to have a memorial in Huber Heights for the veterans. But I'm going to probably be split again with the committee here on this one too, because I look at it as different in that having that Cloud Park, there's too much traffic there, and I think that might be a negative in my opinion, because once you go down, you got to find a place to park. If you go at the wrong time of day, especially on Saturday morning, parking becomes an issue. And I think if I was going to go to the memorial, to me, convenience would not be the priority for me. So I'm leaning toward, I prefer Sherman back here versus Cloud Park on that issue.
Okay, but you do think it should be in a park?
Oh, I definitely agree it should be in a park.
Okay.
But because I went to D.C. there, quick example there, and when you go by the Vietnam Memorial, okay, it's not convenient, but when you're there, just the idea that it's a separate item, you're 10, versus saying it's convenient, let's walk over there. I'm saying, so I think I prefer Sherman back here versus Cloud.
That's an interesting.
Yeah.
I'm from D.C., so it's interesting.
Yeah.
Well, if it's not in a park, how will it be maintained and grass cut and stuff? That would be one of my concerns, where if it's in a park, we would. And what's the size of it? Do we have any idea of a size of?
I think that will be determined later on.
Because I think that would matter, because if it's like in the center of Cloud Park, that could take up a lot of space if it's big. Where I tend to agree with Alex, where if it's here, if it's just those two options, here or Sherman Park or Cloud Park, I tend to agree with having it here, so that way it can be more of a somber moment instead of all these kids and stuff going on. I agree that it would get a lot more look at a Cloud Park because it's bigger, more used, but it's more of a memorial where I think people would want to come and have special moments or quiet moments. I don't know. I'd have to say Sherman Park probably.
So one of the locations, so that way you guys are all aware, hopefully I sent everyone, you all have the picture as well. But if you know where, if you know where the first parking lot is when you're going over to the splash pad, when you keep going straight towards the bigger parking lot, there's a triangular section over there that's not being used. So it's actually in an area that it won't interfere with any of the baseball, softball, soccer, or football. I'm trying to think of all the sports that go over there now. So it wouldn't interfere with any of that. So that was actually a good location for it. But I just want to make sure you guys were aware of that. So I sent you the photo over email, and it's hard to see it in the photo, but if you go by and you look at it, you can drive down to Thomas Club Park, you can actually see it visually. Brian?
I am 100% for Veterans Memorial in Heber Heights. Do I see it in the park? Yes, but not really a current park that we have now. If there's ever a time to have, if they ever did the Brain Pike revitalization and got rid of Marion Meadows and redesigned that and there was able to be a park there, that's a long shot. But yeah, I would love to have like a Veterans Memorial Park there. But where Keith Hensley saw is when I've been posting, and I think I told you, Vince, is the city has land. It is at the old Rowley's location. It's behind that digital sign. That land goes all the way up to the Heber Senior Center's parking lot. Take the trees out, take the brush out. They can piggyback on the parking lot for the senior center. Get entrance to the park. So there'll be plenty of parking there, and it'll be visible. And if anybody's gone like that, say down 35 through Beaver Creek, and they got those big digital signs, you'll see one of them by 675, whatever, it says Industrial Park right there, because it's an industrial park right there. Go down towards Factory Road, underneath the sign in the brick, it says Ankeny Soccer Complex. Well, under our digital sign, if they trim those and trim the bushes that we have around that sign, plenty of space to say, Veterans Memorial Park, because it's right there.
Okay.
And I mean, I had somebody that works for the city that kind of hinted that to me, that knows the city better than me, which is not many of them that do. And when he said that, I was like, man, that's brilliant. That's a great place to put it.
That's what I saw.
Okay, I'll add that to the
I like
email.
that.
Okay.
But that will more likely, after they do that, it will be part of the park system. So then, yeah, it'll be in the park.
Okay. Yep. Glenn?
I'm totally in favor of it. 1, 2, wherever we put it, it's got to make the statement. And to me, I'm in the same ball game you are, but I saw it out near the road at Community Park. Reason being, our youth. I mean, to me, the memorial is, I served my time. I'm not being motivated. They're the ones. It's a teaching experience. It's a motivational experience for them. And has anybody seen the one in Tip City?
Yes.
To me, that little town, they made the statement. They went out and said, hey, we are proud of our city people that served. Cars go past there every day. You see it all the time. That's where it's got to be.
So if you drive up to the city, it's off of 57, right on 571 going towards downtown.
Okay.
If you're coming off of 75.
Right.
So you're going towards downtown, and it's right there, right before you enter the downtown area.
Okay.
Very nice.
Right after the
You're right. I've
fire
seen
station.
it. You're right. I've seen it. Yeah.
It's very nice. So 1, yes. Got to do it. 2, I don't like it in the park in Cloud or this park back here because I think it's too far out and it may get lost down the road.
Okay. Annette.
Yes, Annette. I agree 100% we should have a Veterans Park. I don't agree that it should be in Tom Cloud Park. I think it would have to compete with all the other activities that's going on in the park. I think that should be in a park where and what park, I don't know, if we can make our own park for it, like he had suggested. And so it could stand out and stand alone and then also be central located. So, everybody could get to it.
Okay. All right. So what I hear there are mixed feelings on having the, let me clear this up. So what I'm hearing, everyone's in favor of having a Veterans Memorial Park in the park system, whether it's a new or current, correct? So whether it's new or current, there are mixed feelings of where we think it should go within the current park structure. So what I can do and what I will do is send our recommendation or send some notes over to the Military and Veterans Commission